Welcome, everyone. My name is Evan Smith. I work for the USTA Southern California. I am the Director of Community Tennis and Diversity and Inclusion. We are here today to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month through tennis. Usually we have this event in person, but due to the pandemic, we are doing this virtually. And today we're talking about college tennis. And I'm here joined by Jamie Sanchez and two of his players from Marymount University. Jamie Sanchez is the head coach for the men's and women's team, and a diversity and inclusion committee member, specifically on the Hispanic side. So Jamie, do you mind introducing your two players and yourself?
Yes, I would love to. Uh, Hello, everybody. Um, as Evan just said, we all represent Marymount California University, and so I'll take a few minutes. One is I am the men's and women's tennis coach there currently. I'll expand on that a little bit, I think, later on in this event that we're at. But I'd like to introduce the two players that are present, Sabrina Subero and Kevin Arellana. They are both current members of the team, actually from its start up, and I'll explain that as we go. But let me tell you a little bit about them. So the obvious thing would be is that they both are playing in the lineup. They both play singles and doubles in the lineup and have been since the start of the program. Both of them also not just playing and competing, but have actually achieved regional NAIA rankings in singles and doubles. And then I think one of the cherry on the top is I've got to mention this is that they are both academic scholars awarded by the NAIA individually. And because of their GPA, actually, one of the things that we're proud of is it's actually both teams, the men's and the women's teams, have also been recognized by the NAIA as scholar teams. So I'll let them, explain a little bit more about themselves when they currently go on.
Perfect. Thank you, Jamie. Before we get to your players, we kind of want to start off with you. You've been coaching for many years and a legend. We all know Jamie Sanchez. Can you just tell us a little bit about your career in coaching and kind of where you have been coaching and just what led you to coaching?
Yeah, I think that the best way to put this is that it's been a great journey in regards to what I've done as a tennis coach, and so I guess I'll get the facts out. I mean, currently I'm in my 45th year coaching tennis. It's amazing that tennis has been part of my more than half my life in regards to what I've spent. Although I have dabbled a little bit in two other sports, and that would be football and soccer, for whatever reason. Long story. But so I've been involved with tennis for so many years, and what's unique about it, and I take this as something I really appreciate, but 42 of those years I coached at Loyola Marymount University. And I coached both programs, the men's and the women's tennis teams there. And then, as all things come to pass, I actually left tennis and spent 2 years in athletic administration. Which was a unique experience I enjoyed. And then all of a sudden, the year after that, I was approached by Marymount, California to come and restart their tennis programs, the men's and women's tennis teams. And here, now we are starting my third year though, but our second year in existence. And I've been very fortunate to actually get back into tennis, which I love. And these two individuals that you're going to hear from are one of the reasons why I am still in the game.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jamie. And really cool that you're getting this kind of fresh perspective of kind of starting a new program and 2 years in. So that's really awesome. So going to your players, Sabrina, Kevin, we'll start with ladies first. Sabrina, kind of what led you to tennis, why college tennis, and why Marymount?
So it all started my dad. My dad used to play tennis just for fun with his friends, and then he introduced me to it, and I liked it, and I started playing when I was 13 years old. Um, and I decided to play college tennis because I'm from Venezuela. And usually, there, when you're graduated from high school, you look forward to what to do. Usually, you don't stay over there. And my dad was living here in LA. So I came here in 2016, and I went to a high school first. I was graduated in Venezuela before, but since here there's one more year of high school, I went to high school, but I really didn't like it a lot. My English was not that good, so it was kind of hard. So I went back home, and then I came back and went to a community college for 2 years. And then that's how I met Jamie on one of my games. And after the season, I went to Marymount and I fell in love. I liked it a lot, and I'm happy. I'm still there. I don't want to leave. I just want to stay there for as long as I can. So yeah.
That's awesome. What was it like? I mean, just from coming from Venezuela to the States, what was that experience like for you?
Well, in the beginning, it was really hard. How to say it? Like I didn't find myself, but then I started like I came to high school, and then I met a coach in the valley, and he was from Argentina, and then I met his daughter, and she was going to a community college, so she like kind of introduced me to it, and I started playing tennis for a college, and I met people, and it was completely different. I think that's what helped me a lot, tennis.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of benefits that come from tennis, and you kind of hit on something too, specifically with college tennis, community college, right? California is lucky that you can get an education and play tennis at the community college level. And so that's an opportunity a lot of people don't ever think about, just to get started and now going to Marymount. So that's awesome. Kevin, kind of same questions. Why tennis? What was your first experience playing tennis? And then why Marymount?
So it's almost like Sabrina. My father taught me tennis when I was a young age. That's the only sport that he knew and like had like a familiar taste to it. So he passed it on to me. He wanted me to like pass the torch, but I liked it at first. It was hard to struggle because I liked other sports, but then when I started to play more, dedicate myself more, I started to get a passion for tennis, and um, I went to community college, and then I picked Marymount. Actually, I was supposed to take a gap year until I met Coach Jamie. I was going to take a gap year, but then I thought about experience and education as well, and I met Coach Sanchez. Actually, he was recruiting one of our members in our school. We were playing against them in our division. So I picked Marymount because the program, like it start fresh, start new. Like I knew that like the community, the players, it's not like I go to another school and then I have to interact, like get to know everyone when everybody already knows each other and has already impacted each other. So this one's like everybody comes in random. We make it fresh. We make the team, like a family, like all at once. Now you don't have to come in as a member, but it's been a great experience, um, and I enjoyed it a little bit.
No, that's awesome. Thank you, Kevin. Jamie, always on the recruiting trail, huh? No, that's really cool. And it's really cool that you both are kind of building this legacy, right? So, forevermore, after you graduate, this legacy of having this program will be there. So that's really cool. Kevin, I mean, you've all kind of said something around multi-sports and playing multiple sports. And I kind of want to center that conversation. And Jamie brought it up at the beginning. What is the benefits of playing multiple sports as you're growing up? And then what are some things that maybe that you decided to do tennis instead of the other sports? We'll start with you, Jamie.
So, okay, so I guess I can make a personal statement in regards to that because obviously I didn't play, I didn't even start tennis myself until my senior year in high school. And the only reason I started tennis, well, there's two reasons. One is my brother, who didn't play any sports at all, and he's 2.5 years younger than me, decided that he wanted to play a sport. And lo and behold, tennis was what he wanted to do. I said, well, shoot, I'll do that, you know. And so we kind of connected and got started together at the same time. It just happened to have been the summer before my senior year in high school. And I had currently been playing football. So, I mean, I was really into it, and, you know, the whole bit. But I decided on it though, and this is the second reason, is because the team aspect I loved. And I would say that's probably a statement that anyone can make that's been involved in any team sport. But then taking a step into an individual sport to where total control is yours. So the good and the bad. I mean, you take a look at it, and there it is right in front of you. Nobody else when you're looking around to see if there's someone there that, you know, ultimately, you know, in a certain way, look at, well, was it all me? And yes, it is. I love that. I love the fact that I could be responsible about what I was doing. So tennis is what I went into. So, and I'm a firm believer in this. So I actually have two daughters that born, you know, one's older, one's younger, but they've been in multiple sports as they've been growing. One grown up, and the other one's growing up now. And I really am a firm believer in all of that diversity and reference to sporting and all its aspects are a plus. So I'll leave that and go on to Sabrina and Kevin.
Yeah, go ahead, Sabrina. Kevin, any thoughts on that?
Kevin.
Well, like I said, I was struggling tennis, you know, to get, you know, the rhythm, the, you know, the enjoyment out of it. So my dad told me, okay, go play other sports you want. So the two sports, soccer and basketball, you know, I enjoyed. And then I started looking at the aspects, you know, soccer, I wasn't really that, you know, good. You know, a few lessons there, club, but basketball, you know, the height and the, like, I looked at realistically. And then I went back to tennis. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, try my best. I'm gonna see if you know I have the potential. And then I started going every day. And then I just had the mentality of like, okay, this is a sport, you know, that, you know, I grew up with. This is a sport that you know, I can't give up on. So that's when I got the passion for it and just wanted to develop that specific sport. But I'll say the multi-sport has helped me a lot in different aspects. Like each sport has like a unique, like basketball, eye coordination, tennis, soccer, fitness, footwork. They all will correlate to each other to help individual sports in some aspects. Like the professionals, they played soccer, and their speed, incredible footwork. So I think playing multi-sport, like, at some point will help their own specific individuality aspects in tennis.
Couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely. Sabrina?
Yeah, I was gonna say that when you play a lot of sports, it kind of like gives you the opportunity to find yourself, find what you really like and what you want to do. Because maybe if you only play tennis like your whole life, it's harder because tennis you need to put a lot of work on that, and it's only you. You know, like you don't have a team all the time. Like when you play junior tennis, you don't have a team around you helping you, and it's only you. So if you play other sports, that helps you to meet other people, diversity, and all that.
No, absolutely. Um, you know, it's such an interesting thing because you kind of touch on this individualness within tennis, obviously, and kind of if you're coming from a team sport, whether you're on a good team or bad team, maybe that dictates whether you're leaving that team. But just kind of being out there on the court by yourself, you know, there's that individualness. But then you go to kind of college tennis, right? This team aspect, you still have that individualness, but that college atmosphere, that team atmosphere. What are along those lines, what are the benefits really of playing college tennis? Why should an aspiring junior player play college tennis? And I'm going to change the order here, starting with Kevin.
The benefits is, of course, education and experience. Some players, have the potential, like talent, or they want to go to the tour, go start playing those challengers, start getting ATP points. But um, I say, colleges is more better start, because you start to gain experience, you start feeling the high level. High school to college is a whole different aspects in challenges. But also, like, the benefit is you have a specific career or goal that you want to achieve, your major, and plus that you're gonna play something that you love, and you've been playing your whole life. So I feel like that opportunity is unimaginable and unimaginable, because you know I would say some people don't have the chance or um, the opportunity. But if someone has the opportunity, they should grab it and go to that college experience, because it's gonna help them a lot in different aspects. They'll learn maybe even more stuff after tennis. They'll find something that they won't find somewhere else.
I like that, Kevin. Thank you. Sabrina?
Yeah, it's completely different. Not everyone has the opportunity to go and play a sport, in this case tennis, in a university, and I feel like that gives you um, a different perspective of everything. Like the teamwork, you're gonna need that in the future for your career, and the experience that you have during your tennis, like your 4 years of college, you won't have it anywhere else, because you meet people, you make relationships. And I think like being a student athlete at school, it like puts you a lot more in like in the school, like you represent the school, and then your name goes out there and people meet you because of your name and the stuff you accomplish at college.
Yeah, no, great point. There's a sense of pride, right? Sense of pride representing your school. You made a point there, and I would be remiss not to mention it. We have a board member, Carlos Cruz Aedo, who couldn't be here today. And one of the best things that he says that he learned from college tennis was all the things that he learned outside of tennis, right? The friendships, the business skills, all these other things that have served him well moving forward, just beyond just the tennis court. So that's a really good point, Sabrina. Jamie, I'm gonna let you answer that question, but then I have a follow-up for you afterwards.
Okay, so I'm gonna piggyback off of what you just said. So Carlos Cruzedo played for me at Loyola Marymount University, um, and and actually he was very local. He came from Westchester, which is the city that LMU is at. And I remember meeting him when he was just a little kid coming out on the courts to just hit to get in, just to play the game. But anyway, so that's a side note, but I just point that out. I mean, it's amazing. There's so much connection in tennis, and it comes full circle when you come back to it. And this is where I have, I guess, some things to say about what's already been said. And both Kevin and Sabrina have said this. So tennis is unique in a lot of ways. And I'm not going to necessarily mirror other sports, because I think that you can do that. But let's talk about tennis, because I for one, and the reason why 45 years have gone by and I'm still involved with this sport is that I love this game. I think it's a unique game because it allows the individual, and obviously I have to step in and say that one of the things that I've really taken to heart is that I believe this is a game about relationships. I believe that if you are in this game only solely for yourself, then you're going to miss a big piece, a big opportunity that sits right there in front of you. And as we step into the college ranks, let me tell you how this goes about, because this is the way in which I envision it to be when a player comes to college. tennis is a selfish sport. It's about you, about what you're going to do, how you're going to get better. And now you step into the ranks where there's an aspect of team, of togetherness. And so it comes down to this, and that way I don't talk too much. It's, you know what you're doing, but ultimately you find out as you get involved with other individuals of like mind, obviously it starts with tennis, is you find out why you do it. Why you do it is past just the point of your own individual perspective. Now it involves others. And this, I think, is really one of the pieces that a coach is involved in. And if they really get involved in it, then they fall in love with what they're doing, because it is a relationship that begins, starts, and grows. And guess what? As those student athletes leave, it stays connected. So I'll pause there.
No, that's fantastic, Jamie. Relationships, such a key piece. And just it's the ability that tennis provides that I think a lot of people forget, because you can have both. You can have that individual, you can have that team aspect. But as you just said, Carlos, the tennis world is small, and very connected. And it's, yeah, relationships. That's a really key thing right there. I like that, Jamie. So kind of moving in a different direction, specifically to your coaching, Jamie, what is it that you love most about coaching? Obviously 45 years, you've already said you love it, but you keep coming back, you're starting a new program. What is it that keeps getting you to coach, and specifically at the collegiate level?
Well, you know what? This is something that, interesting enough, I kind of go through this metamorphosis. It's like a phoenix. You know, you get into it, you get tired, you get worked out. And then at the end, you're kind of like drained. But then all of a sudden, you get refueled, you get back up, you're back at it again. And I know that's not the greatest analogy, but it's exactly what occurs. So this is the thing that really keeps me in this. So when I first went to college, I wanted to be a teacher. And I'll give you a little bit of this, not too much. But I wanted to be a second grade teacher. So I love little kids, and I wanted to get involved in that aspect. Well, lo and behold, things changed. You know, I graduated. I was going to get into getting a credential, but then all of a sudden, because I had started playing tennis, I got involved in the game more, and lo and behold, I immersed in it. But here's what I love about coaching. It's an opportunity, and this is already there, but it's an opportunity for an individual such as myself to create that learning environment to where these individuals, and I said a little bit about this, find out more about themselves interconnected with other individuals, and taking steps towards achieving goals that they find that they will achieve individually, but they'll even get a wealth more of value as they contribute to what the group accomplishes. So sometimes individually you don't accomplish things, because obviously in a game like this, you win, you lose. So you could be losing, and yet the team could win. Or the team might lose, but there's individual aspects where you gel together, and that connectivity is you gain success by the individual that does well that day. And that learning environment I'm talking about is how you bring this to the surface for all of them to actually not just win at the scoreboard, win the match, but, and I use this philosophy, is win the day, which is whatever is happening that day, that's what you're immersed in, and that's what you're going to get out of it. It's what you put into it. That learning environment and that structure, I think, is what's kind of fueled me as I go through it. And you know what? That environment is space with nothing into it other than the individuals that step into it. And there are the team members like Sabrina and Kevin. They put the ingredients in together to where in a learning environment, you interact. It's a collaboration, it's a give and take. It's not just the coach saying, do this. I believe it has to do with something that occurs with the uniqueness that is established by connecting together.
No, that's really good, Jamie. You kind of provide the structure, right? your players are the ingredients, but you provide that structure. And I think because you've been so successful, you're providing that right environment for your players. And so that's really awesome. And it's awesome that a coach thinks in that way. So kind of pivoting off of that to Sabrina and Kevin, we kind of touched on being athletes and being tennis athletes and collegiate athletes. But there's also that one word in front of athlete for collegiate, it's student athlete. So kind of tell us a little bit about your studies, kind of what are you studying, and kind of, because Jamie kind of alluded to that in terms of structure. It is hard to do both. It's hard to do academics and be a player. Can you touch on that a little bit, Sabrina?
So I'm studying management and accounting. This is my last year. And I think like to have a good balance on both, you really need to have a good time management. Well, what I do is I always like write everything I have to do during the week, so I can like know that if I don't do this day, I'm gonna be all over the place. And I feel like that's what helps me really organize my week and make sure I do everything the day I have to do it, so it's not all together but for the last day. So I feel like that's pretty much it.
No, that's great. Thanks, Sabrina. Kevin?
Yeah, I'm majoring in management, business management of operations, and just what like what Sabrina said, time management. You go to school, you know your priorities are straight. You know you can't play tennis if you don't have good grades. Of course, there's a minimum GPA in order to play, but there should be a high point, just like in tennis. You always have to achieve the highest, achieve the most that you can put into your effort, but you can't slack off. Just like in tennis, you gotta give your all 100% to every aspects in your life, tennis, education, job, anything you do, and that's the kind of mindset you have to go when you go to colleges. You're not there just to play tennis to have a good experience, but to learn something beyond tennis. There's always more experience you can learn in college, and you have to grab the opportunity, and you have to take it and then use it, and then you yeah.
No, that's great, Kevin. Yeah, there's a lot that you can get from college tennis and being a student athlete. You kind of touch on it, education, relationships, time management. You're learning skills from your teammates, from your coach. You're learning in the classroom, and you're learning everything else just about life going through this experience, which is really awesome. So kind of going in a different direction, specifically celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. I kind of want to go into just how being Hispanic, how that's played into your life, whether that be in tennis or just your life in general, and kind of the sense of pride that you might have. We'll start with Kevin.
um it sure has give me pride. I'm surrounded with family and my community of Hispanics, and it gave me a sense of I look at aspects of achievement. Um, in my household, I'm the first one to graduate from a university, so it gives a feel of accomplishment and honor to my family and to where they came from, and what they struggled in, and gave me the opportunity to uh, go higher than they have. It's not sense of, oh, I did better than them. No, they gave me the opportunity. They did what they have to do so I could have a better opportunity in life and in my future career. So I'm very thankful for that, and I don't take it for granted. And nothing comes easy, and you gotta you gotta hold on to that, and see where you came from, see where your parents, your family, where they came from, what they had to accomplish and do to in order to make it. So it gives a sense of gratefulness that I have for the Hispanic community, because That's how it usually starts. It starts a struggle, and then then it becomes an opportunity, and it becomes an achievement, and then so on.
No, thank you for sharing, Kevin. And you definitely have been achieving quite a bit, so you should be very proud. Sabrina?
Yeah, sometimes when you come from other countries, it's kind of hard to start. Being Hispanic, speaking a different language, it's hard in the beginning, but definitely it's if you want to do it, you can do it. You have to follow your dreams, and no matter what you have to do, just keep doing it. And yeah, sometimes you're gonna have up and downs, but that's the best thing. Hispanics, and it's hard. It's definitely hard. Countries over there are like not like here, and sometimes our parents are the first ones to get here and try to help us as much as they can, and then they put you in tennis and you try to follow that dream, and sometimes you probably like it gets harder and harder, but you keep trying, and definitely if you want it, you can achieve it and go to a college and get a scholarship and finish it and graduate, and probably you will be the first one to graduate like Kevin, and that's amazing.
No, it is amazing, and it seems like a theme of resiliency, and just doing whatever it takes, and then a sense of gratitude, of kind of knowing the struggle of your family and doing whatever you can to make them proud. And I know that they are. So, Jamie, kind of similar lines for you.
Yeah, you know what? It's amazing. It's so Sabrina and Kevin are talking here, and obviously we're generations apart, and yet, as I think back about Hispanic culture and my background, so I was born, raised in East LA. Maywood is where I started, but again, I'm looking back here, and as I go back, it really does kind of come up to the surface. I mean, I was there. Our family, it was myself, my mom and dad, lived there for about 7 years, and then I remember moving to Orange County, to Buena Park. But then as I look back at as we say, the culture I was born in, I realized that we weren't the only one moving. So we moved to a house in Buena Park, and lo and behold, 3 blocks away is my uncle and his family moved as well. My mom's sister, my aunt also moved as well, and here we are within 4 blocks. I've got like 16 cousins, all there, and all through growing up, my interaction was we were always around each other, and so as I say this, the culture, and this has been said by Kevin and Sabrina, and I think it comes up even in the aspect of when you talk about playing a sport, it's family. My family is how I look at a culture that I was bred in. I remember interacting, competing with all my cousins about so many things, not just sports, just everyday life, and the willingness to get there, and do something about it. And then obviously that was instilled by the biggest influence on my life, which would be my parents, in regards to do something about it. Now, bringing it full circle, I was also the first member in my family to graduate from college. So as I say that, and as I look at all of the individuals in this group that I'm calling my family, there's only a handful of us that we actually went to college and then graduated. I can also say this, that I graduated from college, and then 20 years later, I decided to go back to school and get my master's. For what reason? And I look back at it, it was crazy to do something, but it has to do with this aspect of accomplishment and what you are grateful for in regards to your family putting you in that position. So why stop there? I mean, there's endless opportunities and places that you can go. Sabrina and Kevin are just on the doorstep of what they're going to be accomplishing, what they're going to be doing because of the opportunity that they've been presented them, and they're maximizing that. So I look back at the essence behind my Hispanic call has to do with family. It has to do with family and the different ways in which we connected together and doing so many different things. Not just the holidays, which obviously is a real big thing Hispanically. I mean, we love party a bit, when there's something in the going on that's an event for the day or whatever. But it has to do with all those individual aspects that are ingrained in a family atmosphere.
No, thank you for sharing, Jamie. Family, yeah. We can say that that's the core, and resiliency and gratitude. That's awesome. And this is kind of for everybody. Are there anybody, Hispanic tennis players or other sports for that matter, that have influenced you, past, present, or future?
Well, um, for right now, like, I don't know if Diego Schwartzman, the Argentinian, he just played the final for the Italian Open. And it's crazy because I was reading how his life was when he was younger, and his family had a lot of money before he was born. And then he was born and his family lost everything because the government in Argentina and all that, and they lost everything. He had to go to his tournament when he was younger and share a bed with other players and sell bracelets during the tournament so he could go to the tournaments. And now look at him where he is. It's sad that keep going and keep trying, it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And had a pretty good weekend too. Jamie, Kevin?
For me would be Rafael Nadal. Pretty good weekend too, but leading up to the French. But he's had more of an inspiration for me, just because of the fight and mentality he had since he kids and until now. It hasn't stopped, and that's giving me a sense of, you know, he's been my idol since I was a kid. I want, like, just his like coolness. I thought he was cool because, like, he never gave up in life or in the tennis court. He always gave it 100%, no matter who he's playing with, in the practice courts as well. And I just like the fact that it's his uncle is with him. His uncle has been there with him the whole time. It's like a father to him, and so he's been an inspiration to me.
No, that's awesome. There's the family again. Definitely big family man and humble, I would say. Kevin, you remind me of Rafa. Very humble. Jamie?
Evan, I'm going to step into a little bit of history here because I totally agree with Kevin in regards to Rafa Nadal. I don't think, I think across the board, no matter what sport you play, if you've seen Rafa play, there are aspects there that all athletes aspire to even have a small percentage of what he brings to a competition. But let me step back. When my brother and I started playing tennis, one of the things that we would hear, and I think this is what inspired my brother more, because he wasn't involved with the sport and I was, even though we both heard the same thing from my dad, and that had to do with Pancho Gonzalez. And in fact, my brother talks about him still to this day in regards to, and I don't know if you've ever met my brother, but my brother's like 6'2", 6'3", he's left-handed, he's tall. So I'm built more like my mom and he's built more like my dad. And so he looks like a tennis player, I don't. But in growing up, that's all we ever heard about was Pancho Gonzalez. And as we grew up, we actually followed because it was, specifically one of a few Hispanics that were involved in it. But as we grew up, and I'll say things that I think mirror what my brother and I talked about, is that there are aspects of Pancho Gonzalez that he had so many obstacles in front of him growing up. But not only that, but as he stepped into the competition in regards to tennis, he wasn't, even though he was very talented, he was always put in a position where he had to work himself out of a very difficult place in order to accomplish certain things. And yet even then did not get maybe the recognition that he deserved at that time. And but what a unique storyline and a mentorship actually to be involved in as you get involved in the game. Now, I have to say this honestly, my brother's game is more like his. Mine, definitely not even close. Uh, but I'll give you a little personal anecdote. As I progressed through this sport of tennis, I had the rare privilege of actually competing against him when he was much older, because he still played. And it was in a mixed doubles tournament. I played with a player that was on my current team, and we played against him. Again, it was just crazy to be on the same court with him, to be able to actually play against him, of which he still had better skills than I did, even after so much time spent. And I have to say this honestly, I mean, we did not win that match, and it was at UCLA. So it was at this big tournament that was involved. We got through a couple of rounds, and lo and behold, in order to get into the next round, we had to go through him. Oh my God. Anyway, so I mentioned that because it really does connect personally to me as I grew up and actually wanted to play this game, get involved in this game. It's an individual like that keeps coming up, and he had fire, he had passion, he had the will to, no matter what was facing him, that it did not matter, that he was going to get it done, and anyway, those are some of the little things that kind of come up when you think about how someone can influence your life, as you look towards that kind of thing.
No, thank you, Jamie, for sharing. That's awesome. And sorry about that loss, but what an experience to be on the same court. That's really cool. And from East LA, which is even cooler. That's awesome. So to kind of close us out, hopefully we're watching or people are watching and intrigued by the conversation. So for Sabrina and Kevin, any aspiring Hispanic junior players who are maybe thinking about going to college tennis or playing college tennis, high school tennis, or anyone who's maybe thinking about playing tennis, but maybe not thinking tennis is for them, what are some things that you could say to them that might get them to play?
I would say that the opportunity, if they have the opportunity to try it out, try tennis, they should go and do it. There's so many sports. I understand that each person has their own unique preference, but even if they have the thought of tennis and say, oh, that looks pretty interesting, that looks unique, they should go and try it, because you never know what could happen. They could fall in love with it, or they could not, but they at least had the opportunity to try it out and not push it away to the side. And to go to college, I say they should go grab the opportunity if they have it, because it's a once in a lifetime. Because if you take a time off, it's gonna be hard to get back, and especially education. People always forget about education. They go play to the sports, but education is the most important when you're going to college. And of course, experience is good, but they need to get prepared to what the next level is coming towards. Not just what the tennis, but what the college can give for them, and if they can grasp it. And so if they have the opportunity, I said they should go to college right away after high school. They should. I wouldn't say go to this specific college, just any college, because each college has their unique uh, attribute they can give to their student athletes, and that's why I think it's a great opportunity for them to go and try it out, because it's a win-win. There can't be any loss in going to college and playing tennis and also getting good education.
Thank you, Kevin. That's awesome. Sabrina?
I'll say that tennis gives you both, like how we were saying, the individual part and the teamwork part, because you play by yourself, but also you have a team around you, and you don't experience that at a younger age. Like probably in high school you will have you have your team and your individual part. But if you have the opportunity to go to college and get that education and also have a scholarship, or even going to a community college where you can have your education play and see if you really like it and try something new, and then it could happen that a coach see you and then here you go, 2 more years and finish your 4 years of college. But definitely try it and you will fall in love, and it's just amazing, the people you meet, the relations you can make, and everything you learn for your future and your career in general.
No, great point, Sabrina. Thank you. Jamie, just a slightly different question, and more speaking to parents looking for their kids to go to college, or maybe just aspiring juniors as well, just things that you look for. Yeah, when Jamie speaks, people listen. So,
Well, you know what? Here's the thing: is I mean, I think that college is another stage in which, and I think Kevin put it pretty well, and then Sabrina backed it up with her words that it's an opportunity. There's no way in life that you should not be going forward, no matter what age you are, and looking at the opportunities that present themselves. Dive into those. Take action in regards to things. So much of life and this time that we're in right now, or we're sitting back and having to wait. If there's an opportunity that presents itself, you should take it. Remember that this sport is a lifetime sport. So every aspect that you go forward and take a chance to get better, to maybe even get into college and see what level you're at and how you do things, that you might even go beyond. It's just another stage where you find out about yourself even more. The aspect of it being a lifetime sport means that this is a game that it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of joy that comes from it, and that joy doesn't necessarily center around just wins, and sadness because of losses. It's because of the involvement you're in and the fact that you play it for, a lot of the things that it gives back to you. Exercise, health benefits, the interactions with the people that you are involved in and meet, the family aspects that we just talked about. I think that parents, if they're listening to this, I think that if their child has an opportunity to play a sport, obviously I would say tennis is a sport, especially if they have the fundamental elements in place, because that opportunity is something that they don't know how far they can go with it. I can give you a little bit of an analogy. I mean, I took up tennis right before high school. I played on the high school team my senior year, which I may not have if I hadn't tried out. And then, lo and behold, I went to college, and I went to college and I played football for 4 years. But I didn't hesitate one iota in regards to would I play tennis, because when the football was over in Tennessee, I went out for the team. I played tennis, and I ended up, and I knew that I was behind everybody else, but it was an opportunity for me to continue with what I had experienced. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I played 4 years of college, tennis and football together, which in itself was, I wouldn't necessarily advise it for everybody, but I couldn't help it. Because the minute I was done with the football aspect, tennis there was attracting me to get involved, because it was fun. It was different. It was another way in which for me to express myself and get involved in things. And I look at this game, and I still look at it as something that it's continuous through your life, and that you'll get benefit from it, no matter what level you reach. So don't pass it up. Go for it. Do it.
wise words, Jamie. And you all said it, opportunity, and all the benefits that you get from the sport. And it's a lifetime sport. Jamie, Sabrina, Kevin, really, really appreciate being here today. Thank you for your time. Sabrina, Kevin, I wish you nothing but the best. Jamie, tennis is lucky to have you. So thank you for taking the time today.
Well, thank you, Evan. And thank you, Sabrina and Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you for your words. Thank you.